I got a picture of me and my high school principal. Where is it? He was like a Joe Clark-like figure in my life, like Dr. Hill, if you're out there. Well, I know you're out there. I know you're going to end up watching, but I love you, old man. There's a picture. I was 16. I never realized how much taller than him I was. So that's me with my arm around him.
Oh, wow.
And all those little guys around her. So like that was the crew, the posse. It was like Allen Temple posse. Like, and I was wanted to be a little asshole because I grew up in the houses. I wanted to fight and shit like that.
Right.
And he at some point just decided that this kid is smarter than he's acting. So let's do this. He'd come get me out of Spanish class, out of Miss Blade's class. He'd make me stand next to him at lunch and eat my lunch. So pretty much everybody knew, you know, he's the principal's guy now. Don't go fucking around. Well, so all my homies that were just on the bullshit in school were just kind of like, we'll see you after school. And it really helped change my direction in terms of where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. So shouts out to Dr.
That's amazing that he knew to do that. That's the value of a really good educator as opposed to someone who's just doing that job. Someone who really looks at a kid and goes, I think I can steer this young person in an amazing direction.
Man, the old man, I'll never forget, he brought me into his office. And he said, Michael, I'll never be a doctor or a lawyer in the sense of a medical doctor, a lawyer, engineer, all these things. But it really touched me. He said, but I'm going to be all those things through you and the students that I have here. And when I tell you that man, that high school was a national school. It had only had two principals at the time, Dr. Butts before him, who was my mother's principal at the same school, and then later me. Now, since the principal, they've had multiple principals, and the school is kind of fallen, but they got a great principal over there now, a female principal who me and T.I. are very involved in helping the school kind of return to glory. But that man changed a lot of lives. He put a lot of people through that school. 1995 NCAA champion Cameron Dollar, his dad was a coach there. He went on to UCLA, won the NCAA championship. Chief Judge Asha Jackson, Dean of Technology at Georgia Tech, Raheem Bia. All these people encountered this man, and he put a lot into us. And I love him and thank him for it to this day.
Yeah, people like that are so valuable in a kid's life because just one different perspective, you don't realize even when you're saying it, I guess, probably that the kid's going to have it that way.
Yeah.
I had one science teacher that was really good.
Yeah.
And he was an interesting guy, like Vietnam vet and just kind of hard-nosed sort of dude. And this was a bad
That was Dr. Hill, yeah.
I was in Jamaica Plain, which was, it's kind of been gentrified now, but back then it was a very low-income area outside of Boston.
Gotcha.
And so the school was rough. Like, we had 17-year-old kids that would show up the first days of school because they had been back. I was 13. And so there's kids that had failed 4 years in a row, and they're still like, let me try one more time.
Yeah, we had some 21-year-old graduating seniors. Yeah.
So there was that kind of shit, right? And this guy sat in front of the class, and he said, if you ever really want to hurt your brain, he goes, go outside at night and look up and realize there's no end to that. And you take that for granted. Mm-hmm. And you think about it, you're just kind of just accept that space is above you, but you don't really think that goes on forever. Yeah. Think about what infinity is.
Yeah.
That there's no end to that. And I remember being in that class, being 13 years old, going, holy shit.
Yeah.
Nobody ever said that before.
Yeah.
And I've been obsessed with it ever since.
Yeah. I definitely feel you. Like like I had a lot of great teachers. And some are still my teachers. Mr. Murray, who was an art teacher, but now teaches his former students to grow their own food. And he makes you come out to his yard and plant and pick when it's picking season. But he was one of the first people that kind of pushed me to think past whatever your limits were. But in terms of science, man, Miss Wilder, once she helped us understand how vast the universe is, her and Miss Smith used to be like, oh shit, like when you think about an ant or a gnat in comparison to how big you're looking at them, it's that times infinity. When you start seeing yourself as, man, I'm really small. Because human beings kind of think of ourselves as owning and having everything. But once it humbles you to understand that you're just a speck